Hello, we are out here once again, somewhere in La Font Plaza. Right, nice government style buildings. The goal was to walk around the yuppie enclave that is Navy Yard. Although it seems like I'll have a bit more trouble than expected navigating out of here for some reason. Very annoying. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you want government architecture, you just done us a favor. But yeah, just was the last time I was explicitly in the Navy Yard area was when there was that military parade. You know, and the funny part about that was you could literally just walk around where the barracks were. Like literally. So I was, you know, so what I should have done, well, it seemed like they had decent OPSEC. Or maybe everybody has decent OPSEC when they're talking to me. For vague reasons. But let's make sure I'm calibrated. But yeah, so the goal is just to loop around Navy Yard, maybe like Audi Field, National Park, and then see how much enthusiasm I have after the fact. But yeah, so last time was around a military parade. Yeah, you could literally walk right by where they had the soldiers' base. So, frankly, what I should have done, and it's also very easy to tell because when there's an infinite amount of Lime scooters sitting around, it's like, you know, that's a lot of Lime scooters, am I right? But yeah. Okay, pretty sure we're going right way down, but nice little metro office. But yeah, so it's literally like you walk right by, and so I walked by the morning or the day before, and then I walked by the day after, or I guess in the evening after. And you could see the contrast, or you can see how it was, frankly, somewhat disorganized, because because it's different units, and so they had signs for where people should be based, and and I could, pick up the signs. They had water bottle, the big packs of water bottles sitting around. So, kudos to them for being very. I was tempted to take a water bottle because it was actually somewhat thirsty, but I do suppose it would be stealing from the feds in that case. Which is okay. Okay, so this exit would have made my life a lot easier. So you're walking once again, but look at that. It's not a bad view. right there. Capitol in the back. Please post inside to that fit check. San Etienne. Nice, tasteful green. But I do like how you can see the Capitol building from random, less photogenic streets. And there's like objectively a pretty shitty part of DC up in not northeast, but in that direction. Like it generally it gives off like Philly type of vibes, but you know, you can see the Capitol building. You know, can't say any congressmen or whatnot ever head down that way, but you make do. Am I walking the right way? Shit. Oh crap, I was not. Yeah, I guess the National. It's the National Mall. Let's see right time, 6:50. Sun's not fully out, right, which just shows how I don't have many more of these in me. It's given timing. Also, you know, Olivia Rodrigo, Vampire, you know, very, very pop coded, but it's got a nice riff, you know. And if it's got a nice riff, who am I to argue against that? Or who am I to argue against Olivia Rodrigo? Certainly not I. After seeing oh, she's had some like photos out, which, yeah, like fall to your knee type, or just like you do a double take. But enough. It's too early in a video for that. But Navy Yard. Anything else? Crypto stuff. Kind of want to be show a bit more variety than my usual reminiscing about alternate versions of life. After finishing the Fort Bragg cartel and that book about the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, I can't say I've read a book since, regrettably. It's always something to talk about. I can yap about. I suppose one point is novelty. I think I might have talked about it in the abstract before. But there was a nice blog post from this guy about trips on traveling. And pretty much, well, this isn't his idea, but it's the more abstract idea that there's a difference between traveling versus just wanting the familiar novelty, right? And the desire for the familiar novelty is why there's so much over-tourism in Western Europe, but other parts of the world are much less touristed. Like conceptually, if what you want is something interesting, like we should be in Fez, right? Or Hangzhou or something, right? So this is where the sanctions happen, or maybe that's Treasury by the White House. And there's HUD in the nice, vaguely, well, it is utilitarian, I don't know if you'd say it's vaguely Soviet style. Least of all, am I the guy to disparage the Soviet project. But the little weekend project was, I came across a REIT, which pretty much has like 70% exposure to government office buildings. You know. And for me, I'm like 70% office to go exposure to government office. Sounds pretty dope. Though again, there is risk of permanent impairment that is not appreciated fully. Look at that this nice highway monstrosity. It is funny how for the entire East Coast corridor, it's all funneled through DC. I don't know, guys. Having a handful of choke points for the entire Northeast corridor ain't great. But again, you know, think about rail traffic, right? If something happens to the Hudson River Tunnel, certainly passenger rail is done for. I'm not sure if freight rail. I suppose freight rail, there's redundancies where you could route around Buffalo. But yeah, guys, I'm not so sure we have the formula set up. But what you gonna do? Today a public transit type of day to talk about. I'm not sure if I'd want it to be. Yeah, it is nice. I do suppose this is more of a downtown area in effect, so it's not like you can make any sweeping statements about DC activity from this. I will say, I do think it's funny that, right, because I'm holding my camera at chest level, right? And actually, like, your chest level is determined by your height. And so the POV of the world is that, so I'm probably 5'6", 5'7". Certainly on certain profiles, I say 5'7". But what chest levels, like, I'm missing 1.5 feet. So you're seeing the world from a 4-foot perspective, which is why you can't see above the cars. It's like, wow. There is actually some utility probably to having your vlogger be a bit taller so you get better views. Yet another example of heightism. Shaking my head. But yeah, that is actually a genuine, well, it's a reality. Oh man, very sad. Really should have drank more milk. Is that man. Yeah, what would I do with a time machine? Ask that girl out, number one. Number two, get involved in crypto in high school or middle school. 3, drink milk. Man. Get back to the framing, right, of the two things that matter, right? Failing professional career or fulfilling romantic existence. I don't know. That's probably it, right? Because frankly, professional career, that's just proxy for having employment. Fine, we'll walk around the waterfront. We'll make this holistic and a true yuppie experience. No half-assing it. I do suppose the waterfront is very well. It's not yuppie is actually. I feel like, to me, I view yuppie as much more of a pejorative than I do saying yank, which is probably a bit inverted, right? Because yank is actually it's not a racial slur, but you can feel the vitriol, you know. But yeah, what am I to say? Look at that, sun's out. What a nice setup. You can see, right, like, you know, nice buildings, right? Chain stores. We got a Fogo de Chao. You know, like, we know what's, you know, a bakery, right? Like we know who you are. We know what the waterfront is as a place, you know. And to be fair, you know, I do find it nicer than the Georgetown waterfront, and I've never seen a royal or Iranian flag at this waterfront. Instead, I've only seen Romanian flags for a Romanian Cultural Day thing, which, you know, I think is actually very charming. You know, Romania is frankly, it's probably one of the more underrated countries. Of course, there was a funny thing where Curtis Yarvin didn't know that the Roma, aka Gypsies, were different from Romanians, which just shows the intellectual genius of he that is Curtis Yarvin. But out of Bucharest, Pilasti, Cluj. I don't know. And again, right, at the end of the day, right, like back to like the familiar novelty. At the end of the day, reset camera. At the end of, Christ, camera. Tempting to go the entire video like this. So, man, we are. Oh look, Gordon Ramsay thing. This is funny. Yeah, this is like Chloe, like actually setting up for a live, like a TikTok live stream. There's actually a novelty to this setup, if I'm being honest. I'm not sure how it's going to show up in the actual video. I suspect it'll be like half your screen is just going to go black for this. Maybe. This is actually, I don't know. The issue is the hand, like the grip. I don't have a grip per se, right? So this is a bit awkward. Would suck to drop this. So that would kind of be material, but I don't know. Like, this actually genuinely, you know, if I had a professional apparatus, this would not be a bad pretentious view, but yeah. Probably shouldn't go the entire video of it because I don't want to disrespect the waterfront, of course.